Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode the entire life of a single powerful document, the purchase order. This thing, it's all about control, commitment, and, you guessed it, cash. Right? I mean, how do you do that? It's not magic, that's for sure. The answer is all about a really well-thought-out process. And the hero of that whole process? It's a little something you've definitely heard of, the purchase order, or as we all call it, the PO. I love this analogy. On a corporate scale, a PO really does follow a pretty similar path. But, when you're talking about 10,000 laptops instead of a large pepperoni, yeah, there are going to be a few more checkpoints. A lot more, actually. And they're all there to make sure everything, from the very first click to the final payment, is completely buttoned up. All right, so where does our hero, the PO, begin its journey? Well, like any good story, it all starts with a simple need. Someone, somewhere in the company, needs something. Now, this need can pop up in a few different ways. It could be an employee, let's say Sarah from marketing, putting in a formal request, a purchase requisition for a new monitor. Or it could be totally automated. Your MRP system might suddenly realize, whoa, we're almost out of this specific bolt for the assembly line. Or, it could just be a buyer creating a PO from scratch for a one-off purchase, like hiring a consultant for a project. Okay, so once that need is official, a buyer gets to work and drafts the actual purchase order. And you can really think of this thing as the company's super detailed official shopping list. It's got everything: who you're buying from, what you're buying, how many, and for how much. Every little detail is locked in.
But wait, before that PO goes anywhere near a vendor, it has to face its very first challenge. And it's a big one: the internal approval gauntlet.
And look, this isn't just red tape for the sake of it. No way. This is a super important financial control. It's the company's first line of defense, really, making sure every purchase is legit, it's in the budget, and, it's actually something the business needs. So let's trace its path. The PO starts its life as a simple draft. Once the buyer hits submit, it flips to in review. This is where it gets passed around to managers, department heads, whoever holds the purse strings. And once it clears all those hurdles, boom, it gets that all-important approved status. Now for the big moment. The final step in this part of the journey is confirmation. This is huge because this is when the PO goes from being just an internal piece of paper to a legally binding contract with the vendor. Its status changes to confirmed, and it's officially game on. All right, here we go. This is the climax of our story. This is the moment where the real world, the physical stuff arriving at your loading dock, crashes right into the digital world of accounting. So picture this. Pallets of those 10,000 laptops show up at the warehouse. The team there unloads them and posts what's called a product receipt. Now, this sends a signal to the accounting system that basically says, hey, the stuff is here. We now have the asset, but we haven't gotten the bill yet. This creates a kind of temporary holding account, a financial IOU, if you will, called GRNI, which stands for Goods Received Not Invoiced. Okay, next up, the vendor's invoice shows up in the mail, or more likely, email. This is the official bill, and when the AP team processes it, the system does something really slick. It automatically reverses that temporary GRNI accrual and creates the real liability. This is the actual bill that we have to pay. But hold on. Before 1 cent leaves the company bank account, our PO has to face one last test. Think of it like a mini-boss battle called three-way matching. So let's break this down because it's really important. You've got two-way matching, which just compares the purchase order to the invoice. It's basically asking, did we get billed for what we said we were going to buy? But three-way matching, oh, that's the gold standard, especially for physical stuff. It adds the product receipt into the mix. So now the question becomes, did we get billed for what we actually physically received? It's a huge difference and prevents you from paying for stuff that never showed up. So, with the three-way match complete, our heroic PO has defeated the final boss. Now it's finally ready to complete its journey and close that financial loop once and for all. Okay, so after that successful match, the invoice gets posted. That's system talk for making it official in the accounts payable system. This updates the vendor's balance, showing that we owe them money, and puts that invoice in the queue to get paid. And then, once every single item has been received and every invoice has been paid, the purchase order status finally changes to closed. Its epic journey is over. Its purpose is fulfilled. So that whole journey we just walked through, to make sure it runs smoothly every single time, there are a few golden rules that companies really need to live by. To keep this whole process from turning into a mess, you've got to have clear rules and you've got to know who's responsible for what. It's so important to be strict about those statuses. You can't just leave POs hanging in limbo forever. And you have to do regular cleanups to close out old orders and reconcile that GRNI account we talked about. But really, the secret sauce, the thing that makes it all work, it's constant communication between your procurement team, the warehouse crew, and the folks in finance. So now you've seen the entire hero's journey of a purchase order. And it really makes you think, right? How healthy is your company's process for buying the things it needs? Because understanding this life cycle, that's the first step. It's how you make sure every single purchase is controlled, efficient, and accurate. It's how you turn what could be complete chaos into a thing of beauty, a masterpiece of operational control.